India's trade deficit slipped marginally to $26.5 billion in August, slightly below July's $27.4 billion. The narrowing deficit was driven by a combination of softening imports and stronger exports, particularly to the United States. However, with 50% tariffs now in effect, that positive trend could reverse. In August 2025, India's goods exports totaled $35.1 billion, a 6% drop from the month prior and a 7% decline from a year ago. In fact, those lower exports figures reflected a slowdown in several key sectors. Still, India's overall exports in the current fiscal year have increased over 6%. In fact, the country's exports to the US have remained resilient, climbing by over 7% from a year ago and 18% during April to August. On the import side, the story was similar, with total imports falling to $61.6 billion, down 5% from July and 10% from a year ago. The sharp decline of 56% in gold imports is a key factor in this drop, but the festive season could drive higher demand for the precious metal. Meanwhile, during April to August, India's imports have risen slightly to $306.5 billion, $306.5 billion. In fact, it's also worth noting that the services trade continued to show strength. Services exports in August rose by 12% from last year to $34.6 billion, with a steady surplus of $16.6 billion. That contrasts with the goods trade deficit and demonstrates the strength of India's services sector in the global market. The combination of a strong services export performance and a slowdown in goods imports has led to a steady yet improving trade balance. However, the outlook remains challenging, with the increased tariffs expected to hurt US exports and possible pressures from the global market. The future trade trends could be less optimistic. As India prepares to navigate these uncertainties, the government's policy measures, such as the production-linked incentive schemes, will continue to play a crucial role in supporting export growth and reducing dependency on imports. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.